All right, one of the additional demonstration topics I would like to cover is the idea of balance. And at this point, just pretty much physical balance, right? So at different stages in life, we have different abilities to control balance. Sometimes it starts to slip, or if you're uncoordinated at the beginning, at any point in life, you just can't kind of get it together and you stumble a lot. So balance is always something that's important to work on. And I found that karate training is a very good exercise at learning how to control balance and improve balance. So some of the exercises I do, simply just standing on one foot. Just do something with the other one. But right now I'll just keep it pulled in tight to your center. It's a fairly simple test of your own balance if you're able to stand like this for a little while. And what a little while means, 10 seconds for some, or 30 seconds, or 3 minutes. It's a little bit relative, depending on what you're already used to doing. One thing to note, though, even sitting like this, very simple balance exercise, just on one foot. After a little while, the ankle starts to get a little tight, because your ankle is constantly making an adjustment. Because we're not always able to keep the body motionless, right? Because we have muscles moving, and we're not a solid unit. We're a combination of moving joints and muscles and things like that. So it is kind of a constant thing for your ankle to just sit there and just adjust this way. It's constantly going on. So after a little while, the muscles in your ankle start to go. And as you do that, I find, easily for myself, that it starts to become a little bit more wobbly. All right, so at that point, you can take a break, shake it off. And then as your ankle builds strength, of course, you'll be able to increase the duration of just that simple little exercise, just standing on one foot. All right? So one of the things in karate that we do, we look for flexibility. We work towards improving flexibility. You get kicks here, kicks here, kicks here, wherever your level of your kicks are. I have never been particularly very flexible. You see movies, TV, whatever, some super skilled athlete they'll put their legs straight up in the air or whatever, way up. That's not me. They do a side split, flop it down this way or this way. That's not me. At best, I'll get to here, and as I can stretch, I can get a little bit warmed up, get a little bit lower, things like that. But I've never been able to do a lot of really impressive kicking techniques. But that's not what my goal is. My goal is not to do some of those most unique things. I just want to do enough to do the exercise. So what we learn eventually, or over time, we've got a range of motion of your ankle, a range of motion in your knees and then your hip joints. You can move different things different ways. When it comes to like kicks, if we just simply not get in our own way, for example, straightening a leg. If you have your knee straight, and then you think of tilting and rotating or rolling your hip forward, it's very inhibited. Right? So bending your knee allows then your hip to move more freely and with greater range. All right, so a little bit of bend in the support leg. You got your ankle bending, your knee bending, and now your hip is able to bend. So with that, I can now get my head, or kick at my own head level. So if I was to just kind of lift my leg up here, it would be very difficult, very awkward to do. But through just a little bit of motion of my hips, keeping those muscles, those areas free to move, I will have much better range of motion. So with the ability to move more freely, controlling the angles and the relaxation of your motion of your body, then you want to think of back to that first, this little exercise. So as we think of doing this, and I can think of, moving my hips, changing directions, sideways, forward, right? I can start to move more freely with maintaining my balance. So at some point, if you start stumbling, you're throwing this off, it's like, oh, you want to try to recenter yourself. Just kind of pull it all into your body center. Regain that control. Of course, we can always give up and do this. But part of the point of improving control over your balance is how to recover when you're off balance. So if I'm all out here falling, I want to try to recover, and I start thinking of everything pulling into my center. Wherever all these different angles are, pulling in, pulling in. So if I'm doing a kick or something and I'm feeling like this, I want to think, control. Breathe out, exhale, relax, just pull it into the middle. Once you're in the middle, now you got your control. All right, otherwise if my weight is over here, I'm going to fall over there. All right, so 3 different areas that I really focus in on for balance. So one, already mentioned, is just kind of keep your knees bent. Your knees then allows your hip to move, as opposed to when your legs are straight and you're trying to move. You don't have the motion. It's a little more tight, right? So you can't really stretch this way. But here, now I can push the hips more forward. I can bring it back, right? So as I'm thinking of just lifting now the leg, instead of just holding one foot up, I'm thinking of maybe the beginning stages or the starting position for getting into a front step kick position here. So I'm bringing up the knee, support knee down, which number 2 is the hips. Okay, and then as I'm bringing this up, the third most important point that I see is how you're pulling into the middle. So if I'm lifting up and I'm not thinking of pulling in the middle, I'm lifting this weight as ahead of or off my body center, away from my body center, and this weight pulls me in that direction. So I'm off to the side, pulls me to the side. Whoever it is, that pulls me that way. But I want to get the sense of drawing up the leg, but keeping the center feeling all the way, all the time. Okay? So now it's the same thing. I don't really have this leg, the foot attached to anything like I did before, but that doesn't really matter. As long as I have the knees bent to allow this, and then my thoughts to squeeze into the body center, your core. Bring your core in. Okay? Then if you think of extending, bring it in. Extending, bring it in. Extending, bring it in. You can expand, kind of throw yourself off a little bit, pull it back in, and recover. So those muscular exercises, and more than anything, relax. Gotta relax, can't tense up. Tense up, then there's nothing to squeeze. You're already full squeezed. You're all tensed up. Part of what we gotta learn in karate is relaxation. Relaxation is very crucial. So it's not all just muscling and powering and everything through. For a brief moment, there's the strong. Then the rest of the time is relaxing in between. All right? So body center. Control. 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 Okay?